Hi, I'm Jayne Hemmins and I'm the programme leader for the Textiles and Surface Design programme here at the Northern School of Art. Today I'm going to be working with an open screen and I'm going to be working with some dies to do a monoprint open screen pull through.
So what inspired your craft, Jayne?
Okay, in terms of when I started becoming interested in textiles, it probably happened for me when I was at primary school. My grandma used to knit quite a lot and my mum was really into sewing, so they influenced me really heavily. And I had an amazing primary school teacher who used to be really into textiles, and she used to bring in rope from her farm and we used to do macrame in class and we did embroidery. We made cute little pennies with cross stitch on them and pencil cases, and I think from being really young I knew really quickly that I really enjoyed working with my hands. And then from there was the unspeakable occasion of when I actually cut my mum's wedding dress up, because myself and my sister decided that we would, really like to play weddings. So my mum's wedding dress was in our toy box. So I took a pair of scissors to a really beautiful handmade white velvet wedding dress. And essentially we cut it up so that it fit me and my sister. And understandably, that didn't go down very well. But again, that probably was part of my fascination with clothing, and that in itself, even though that was probably a really terrible thing to do, probably furthered my interest. So anyway, so throughout school, I always absolutely loved being in the art department. My interest had been sparked at primary school, and then when I went to secondary school, the art department was probably my favourite place to be. I spent lots and lots of time there creating, working with drawing and painting, and I did ceramics, and I think that my main interest became textiles when I got to about 14 or 15, and I started to realise the potential of what you could do when you were focusing on exploring surfaces and textures and print and embroidery onto actual cloth, and that started to get me really, really excited. So I took an art and design A-level along with 2 other A-levels, and I knew for definite at that point that an art and design career was for me. And I actually came to the Northern School of Art to do my foundation diploma. And whilst doing my foundation diploma, I was introduced to textiles more formally. So I started to learn about things like repeat and more formal embroidery techniques and loads of print techniques, and I just found my passion, and I went on to study textiles at university and specialised in print. And from then I set up my own really successful design studio and specialised in printed textiles for interiors and gift and fashion fabrics. So for this monoprint, I'm going to be exploring some typography. I am currently, as part of my scholarly activity and research, looking at my own personal procrastination rituals, and it's something that I've been exploring for the last couple of years within my work, and my own thoughts and words around that are becoming quite important in my own practice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write some words on the screen that relate to a procrastination ritual that I take part in, and then I'm going to print the work after it's dried. So I've mixed up some acid dyes, and I've mixed myself a red and a blue and then a really, really dark teal blue. And because I'm working with typography, I've got to work back to front. So I'm actually going to work on this side of the screen and I'm going to write backwards. So I'm going to get my brush, and what I'm doing is I'm applying the dye to the mesh using a lovely square brush so that I can get my lettering quite square. And
so is this the kind of thing that the students would enjoy doing on the course? Is this the kind of thing they'd learn?
yeah, within our first year, within level 4, one of the modules is called print, and as part of that module, students are introduced to all aspects of printed textiles and printed surface design, and we explore conventional and non-conventional materials. So some students will be focusing on things like paper and cloth, but we also work with things like card, we work with tiles, we work with glass if students want to develop skills in that area, and we cover all technical aspects of print embroidery in that first year. So in that print module, we will look at dyeing fabrics using acid and reactive dyes. We also teach how to actually produce, expose, coat your own screens. That sort of screen production is a really, really important part of our course, because we believe if you design something, you need to be able to understand how to produce it so that you could explore whether or not that could really work in industry. So open screen work is one of the processes that we would teach in our first year, as well as more formal exposed screen printing, as well as heat transfer printing, as well as all the dyeing processes. So we do a full introduction into the print processes. So as I said before, I'm actually painting these letters on backwards, and I'm working quite quickly because I want the outcome to be quite spontaneous. I'm going to change colours as well.
So what's your advice to anyone looking to pursue a career in textiles and surface design?
I think my advice would be that if you know in your heart it is what you want to do and you feel passionate about it as a subject area, then you've just got to absolutely go for it. It's a really, really exciting part of art and design, because the potential in terms of the diversity of what you can create and what you can work with is really exciting. You can work for the interiors industry, you can work for the fashion industry, you can work for the gift industry, and all of those related areas. And what it means in reality is no 2 days are the same when you get out there into the real world. And I think that, here at the Northern School of Art, one of the really brilliant aspects of our course is that we are taking students on those real life experiences from day one. So we exhibit internationally at trade shows, we sell student work internationally and nationally, and students are working with clients right from day one. When they walk in the door, we're doing live assignments, we do loads of work experience, that type of thing. So my advice is, if you want to do textiles and surface design, then go for it. Work on your portfolio, explore drawing, explore textiles and surface design techniques as well. But it's that passion that you need, because it's a competitive industry. All areas of the job world are, but the work is there for people if they want it and if they have the right experiences and they go out there and make it happen, I guess. So I'm just going to pop another letter down.
So what do you look for in future students for your textile course?
Okay, the main thing that we are looking for when we interview students is that they have potential. So there's no one kind of size fits all for a portfolio. So some students may really know in their heart that they want to study textiles and surface design, but their portfolio might be predominantly drawing, and that's absolutely fine. Conversely, some students come with a very technique-based textiles portfolio, and they may never have done surface design, they may never have done any digital work, or even much drawing, but their passion at that point is more on the technical side of things. And both of those routes onto the programme are absolutely fine. And I think that the main thing is that we need to feel that a student is really, really interested in the subject and they want to learn and they want to explore textiles and surface design and develop the skills to get a career that is going to make their heart sing, basically. And I think that the passion and the enthusiasm for that subject is probably the main thing that we are looking for.
Well, your course is one of the most popular and successful courses at the Northern School of Art. Why do you think this is?
I think that the enhancements that we have on the programme are really attractive to students. We have amazing contacts in industry. All of our students have the opportunity to go out there and do work experience in an area that interests them. So we have students who go out and do, a couple of weeks within an interior surface design studio. Some students opt to do, fashion. Some people might shadow a designer maker, and some people might go into a regional school and do some teaching experience. So, the fact that we've got a really, really excellent contacts range and a really, really good work experience database helps us to match up students with those careers that they're looking for. And the other thing that that we do that a lot of textiles and surface degrees don't is the exhibitions. So we exhibit at Surtex in New York, Premier Vision Design in Paris. We're doing Indigo Mood in Brussels this September. We also do the New Designers exhibition every single year, and that is a showcase of the UK's best design talent within textiles and surface design, and it's based at the Business Design Centre in Islington. So the fact that all of our graduates get the opportunity to exhibit there means that they know that they are going to get that really brilliant opportunity to meet agents, to meet employers, to get their work seen by the national press, by people who potentially may want to commission them to create design work for them. And it's those additional enhancements and those little springboard opportunities that really appeal to a lot of students who apply to us. The other things that we can offer to our undergraduates is every single student gets their own workspace from the minute they walk in the door until the minute they leave. So that's a work bay with plenty of room to put your research up, to have all of your art materials out and available, and there's no hot desking in the department. Everybody gets a locker, everybody gets their own plan chest, drawer or shelf so that they can store their work really easily. And the resources within the department are absolutely amazing. We've got industry standard print tables. The screens within the department are open access. Students can sign out as many as they want. There's no studio fees to pay. And it's exactly the same in our dye lab. We've got an amazing dye lab. The dyes are out for students to help themselves too. As soon as everybody's had a health and safety induction, you can come into the print rooms, you can go into the embroidery room, and you can get on with your work. You don't have to book a space. You can access the facilities, and they're amazing facilities.
And can you talk us through a couple of the alumni success stories?
Absolutely. We've got a huge amount of alumni success. We have, our graduates have gone on to study master's degrees at the Royal College of Art and London School of Fashion, amongst other universities in the country. We also have graduates who are now working in the River Island Design Studio, Marks and Spencer's Design Studio, all as surface designers. We have a senior print designer at Ola Keeley. We have graduates, who are now really high up within the design team in Linear for House of Fraser. We've got people working very successfully as designer makers, running their own businesses, working freelance. We have students who are now running and creative directing their own galleries and shops within the Northeast and all over the country. We have students who are really successfully employed in design studios in London, New York, and we also have people working across areas like the trend industry. So it's not just surface design. We have people who go into offshoot careers such as community arts and teach lots and lots of our graduates go into teaching, as well as the full range of gift, interiors and fashion surface design as well. So what I'm doing is I'm working quite spontaneously in terms of how I'm putting the dye onto the screen mesh. So the screen mesh is very, very, very finely woven. It's very, very taut. So these silk screens, because of the tension, it's allowing me to paint on top of the mesh, and wherever I'm painting, it's staying where I'm putting it. If the mesh was a bit baggier, it would bleed. So that allows me to kind of direct the dye where I want it to go. So what I'm doing, I've written freehand some letters that relate to a procrastination ritual that I am quite fond of. And all will be revealed when it's dried, and I'm going to pull it through onto some paper with some of this weird looking stuff that's called Manutex, and I'm going to get the colour to come off the mesh. One of the other reasons that students find the programme here really appealing is because all of our lecturers and technician demonstrators are still employed within industry as well as being lecturers here. So we've got really current knowledge. The lecturers are all doing really interesting scholarly activity and research to support their practice as tutors, and it basically means that everybody's really current, really up to date, and still really engaging with their subject, and bringing those aspects to our teaching means that learning experiences are really, really relevant, really current to what's happening today in industry. And the other thing that's really nice about the team is they're all really approachable, really, really passionate about teaching, and absolutely love working with students. Ready to go. So my screen is now dry. I'm going to turn it over and put it onto my piece of paper, and because it's dry I can have a little maneuver with it and put it where I want to. So I'm going to centre it up a little bit with my paper, and then this is the carrier that is going to put my dye onto my paper. So this is Indalca paste, which we mix up. It's a bit like making mashed potato. It's like smash. It's powder, and you add water to it, and it allows us to screen print with our dyes onto cloth or onto paper. So pop some of that into my screen. I'm going to hold my screen down. I'm going to tuck my badge out of the way, and I'm going to hold my screen down really firmly, hold my squeegee right in the centre so I get good even pressure, and I'm going to very, very gently but firmly pull the Indelka over my work, and I'm just going to give it another pull just to make sure. Okay, I'm going to put the spare Indelka back in the jar. Sounds like I'm doing a teaching session. Oh, that's a bit contaminated, so I'll pull that back out. And then I will lift the screen up really gently and see if it's worked. Pop that out of the way, and I'll try and do the big reveal, but the paper's wrinkling up a bit. There is my monoprint open screen pull through. Time for a cup of tea.